Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WYTV7 in Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey, friends, come join me for just a minute and try to imagine how magnificent you'd feel living the distinct and unique life that you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, and places you love, and all the while creating real value to others. Well, that's what I call a life of significance, and I can tell you it makes a very happy life. And so can my friend Sherre DeMao, and she's here to share her unique and distinct journey to her life of significance. But before we bring her on, I'd like to share a poem that we created to thank her for being our guest star today. It's called Living with Significance, and it goes like this. With wisdom and joy, she lights the way, inspiring bold dreams each brand new day. Sherre shows us how, by living with power, her gifts grow brighter hour by hour. Through creativity, spark, and a generous heart, she mentors others to make their start. She lifts with vision, steady and true, teaching us what living with purpose can do. So tune in, my friends, and hear her voice. Her journey proves we all have a choice. Discover the joy, come witness her essence as she shows us the way of living with significance. Hey, Sherre, welcome to the show.
Welcome. What a way to start. Wow. I feel very appreciative. That's very cool.
Very good. Well, get us started, please, by telling us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world.
Well, I've been working with entrepreneurial businesses for 40 years, and last year marked 40 years working with them. And so every year but what I've realized, I'm not just working with entrepreneurs, I'm working with every person around up, down and around an entrepreneur. And that's the thing that really got me excited about the work that we do, because I'm touching every life and I'm helping them touch other lives and really make a difference. And so for me, it's about what is true economic vitality? What is true economic vitality? I sign my email, yours and economic vitality. It's not just money. It's prosperity. And what is prosperity? What is that pursuit of happiness, right? Everyone's chasing happiness, and happiness is right in here, right in here,
Yep.
just waiting to glow and flow from each individual person. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing is I'm helping every entrepreneur and every person that I have the privilege and honor to touch and talk to and be with know their own superpower and gift. So
Very,
that's what I'm
very
up
good.
to.
Very good. Explain your philosophy, me, myself, and Inc. And what sets it apart from other business philosophies.
Okay, so I'm so glad you asked me that. I have to tell a little story around how that came about. It was 26 years ago. I was pregnant with my soon-to-be third daughter, and I kept hearing people say that everything I wanted to accomplish was not possible because of that old dreaded work-life balance.
Mm-hmm.
And I really didn't like hearing, well, you can't grow your business regionally, which by the way now is national, but at the time I was
Right.
trying to grow it regionally. You can't do that when you're going to have a third child, and you can't expect to have more time with your three children if you're going to grow your business regionally. And oh, forget about having any time to get back in shape and all of that. And I just sat back, and I was so tired of people saying, well, you can't, you can't, you can't, you can't. And so I just kind of sat back and I said, well, wait a minute. Isn't work a part of our life? So why are we pitting work against our life? That was
Yep.
epiphany number one. Then
Yep.
epiphany number two was, well, work-life balance looks at everything outside of us instead of what is inside of us. And what is
Mm-hmm.
inside of us? So then I thought of the old psychological thing, me, myself, and I. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. What's inside me is me, myself, and ink. And so I thought, well,
And
then me,
just for clarity,
yeah,
Inc. is
yeah,
incorporated, not like an
as
ink
in
pen,
corporate, yeah,
but the
as in
business Inc. Yeah.
INC as in
Yeah.
ink, yeah, as in incorporated. So me, myself, and ink. And so then I said, okay, I'm going to go with this. What does this mean?
Mm.
And so I started looking at my goals together. And so many people look at their personal goals over here and their business goals or work goals over here. And that's why they start doing this, right?
Hmm.
And so I said, okay, my me goal in this particular case is to spend more time with my daughter, soon to be 3. My Inc. goal is to grow my business to a regional status. My self goal is to get back in shape and to have energy to have fun with all these 3 daughters, right? And so once I looked at them all together, I saw things very differently. And so the
Hmm.
very first thing I did was look at, okay, how am I spending my time? How
Yeah.
am I spending my time right now before this baby comes out of me? How am I spending my time? And I realized there was this whole chunk of time that I could hire somebody else to do. And oh, guess what? Then that'll give me time with my daughters and time for myself.
Yeah.
And so I was able to achieve all 3. And from
Yeah.
that point forward, I started working with all of my entrepreneurial clients that way, anybody that way. And what amazing things happened once
Yeah.
it went from the outside in to the inside out. Pretty powerful
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. It's a matter of what you're describing a similar process that I've described differently, but it's really identifying what's most important to you, spending time on that, and getting rid of everything else.
Yeah,
And then so that leads me to one more question on this section. What has changed? How has that changed in your mentoring practice changed? And maybe even your philosophy, or not your philosophy, but the buckets that you play in these days over these last 40 years. And I want to take credit for identifying the 40-year marker for you, because I wrote to you in my researching. No, it's
exactly.
not 30 years, Sherre, it's 40 years.
Yeah, 10 more years has gone by. My goodness.
So what's changed in 40 years time? What just the top 2 or 3 big things that's changed for you?
Oh gosh, what's changed for me? I think, first of all, change is a constant. We all know that, right? But what has, I think, been most profound to me is how fast change is coming and continues to come
Mm.
in the world in general, not just in the entrepreneurial space.
Hmm.
And so to me, that's huge opportunity. That's just huge opportunity to embrace the change and unleash what it can do for you.
Yeah.
So everything from technology to how we interface with each other. I mean, just think about what happened during COVID, and all of a sudden, hybrid and remote, and everything became something pretty common and normal. And it
Yeah.
changed our world forever to the better, quite frankly, giving people more freedom that
Yeah.
is so awesome, no matter what you're doing or how you're doing it. So
Yeah.
that's the thing that's probably significantly stood out to me, and it's exciting. I
Yeah.
see
Right.
I see huge innovation, scaled innovation happening, which is very exciting. I really do see something that people don't know is during COVID, there were more patents and trademarks submitted in the US than any other country. That says people were seeing a problem and developing an amazing solution. And so I really see the turn of the century that we've seen, like back in the from 1800s to 1900s. I see that same thing about to happen right now. So it's kind of, and
Yeah.
AI is just one example. There's going to be
Yeah.
so much more than that.
Yeah. Very good. Okay. Thank you, Sherre. Now let's move to mathematics and share with our friends all around the world our happy formula. And it's
All
very
right.
simple,
Yes.
but it's super powerful. And it goes like this: power plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with power. What are your personal practices for building up all the power that you need to get things done, whether it's physically or mentally or financially or spiritually or emotionally? In other words, what do you do on a regular basis to create the power that you need to take really good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over so you can be a giver to others?
First of all, I love that. Take care of yourself and you can take care of the world philosophy. I really, really
Hmm.
love that. And one thing that I do without fail every morning is I spend time in meditation and prayer and journaling. And that journaling is processing, but it's also significantly around gratitude and being very thankful for what I already have, even though there might be things I haven't quite got yet. I really do focus on that. The
Yeah.
other aspect is exercise. Now, I used to always do it in the morning, but I decided I needed that private time for reflection and meditation in the morning. So I literally schedule, it might be, I might decide noon to go for a 3 mile walk, or I might decide at 10 o'clock, oh, I've got a break. I'm going to do my strength training now, whatever it might be. But I schedule it in because it makes me feel better. When
Hmm.
it comes to the financial, and it comes to the other aspects, the emotional. I love being out in nature. So nature, hiking, being outdoors is where I get some of my most brilliant insights and innovations and reflections and ideas. So I believe
Hmm.
getting out in the sunshine is really important, and I try to do that on a daily basis too, no matter what time of year it is, by the way. And then financially, really, understanding where you are and where you want to be. And, I'm telling you, also giving and being generous and giving. And that's not just money, that's time, talent, and treasure,
Yeah.
because it comes back tenfold to you, but you're not doing it to get any kind of return. You're doing
Yeah.
it because you want to significantly have an impact beyond what you might get back.
Yeah.
So that's, I really do try to cover all the bases, and I really try to practice what I preach.
Yeah. Very good. All right, let's move on to my favorite power generating concept. It's called a Kaizen state of mind. And
Mhm.
it's this beautiful Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And it's so powerful, Sherre, because it's all about mindset, not circumstance. Kaizening life
Yes.
is knowing there's always something I can do better tomorrow than today. And it creates a gentle, relentless, never ending force that just keeps lifting my life higher day after day after day. So, Sherre, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your power to continuously become more so you can keep giving more and impacting more people's lives?
Well, that just the whole concept gets my heart racing because I'm such a believer in it. I define it as inspired actions, inspired daily action, and making momentum building decisions because you know what your purpose and your vision is, and so you make decisions according to that. You know what your deep core values are, and you make decisions according to that. And so there's a couple of things that I do and that I also really encourage anyone I'm mentoring or any client with entrepreneurial client and their business. Okay, so one is every Sunday is what I call my inspired action Sunday evening. And
Hmm.
so I take time every Sunday to look at my goals. I literally, I'm an old school girl, and I have my goals all written right here in this little, and
Yeah.
I review them, and I make sure that I am uh, taking action every week, every day, depending on what it is, towards what I hope to accomplish and I desire to achieve. So that's one thing that I do. The other thing that I'm a big proponent is that so many people get stuck in money being their only resource. And if they feel
Yeah.
like they don't have enough, then that stops them from doing anything.
Yeah.
And I think my example earlier shared that you don't just have money, you have time, your time and other people's time, you have other people and their time, and
Yeah.
you have technology, and then you have money. And so often people are either wasting money or not realizing that they don't need money at all because they're not leveraging other people, their own time effectively, and technology. And so that's also something that I constantly ask myself is, should I be doing this? And this, I give my Granny P a lot of credit for this. She gave me one of three promises I'll share. I might end up sharing them all by the end of this interview. But one is don't feel guilty about making life easier for yourself. Man, is that hard for people?
Yeah. Yeah.
And guess what? Delegating,
Yeah.
like one thing I did when my children were young, they're all grown now, and I love to see they're doing it with their own. If they could pick up a toy, they could put it away. And so they
Yeah.
helped just like we did, so be open. And this is the other promise, be open to all possible resources and support, even
Yeah.
from places you might not think, you don't know until you ask, right?
Yeah.
And so those are really powerful daily things and weekly things that I do to remind myself I can accomplish more and I can help more and I can do more, but I can't do it all alone.
Right.
So,
Yeah. So, we talk about power and purpose and significance, and it's in a pyramid. And we've been
yes.
talking about the base, the power base. Where do you get your power? Finance is only one component of that.
Hmm.
And finance in my life, there's been times I've had very, very a very low financial
Yes.
power.
Yes. Yes. But you know
even
what?
negative, even negative. But so it's a matter of being aware of it and
Mhm.
then leveraging all of the different kinds of powers. And I'll just give a quick example and then let you finish
Please,
up.
yeah, because I got something to share too. Yeah.
And when I was young and we first bought a house, I had to I had to mow the lawns. I didn't have money to hire
Right.
a landscape guy. And so when I finally had some financial resources and I could say, hey, I'm going to outsource that task. I don't like doing it. And I'm going to spend my time writing or doing whatever my business was at the time, or spending time with family or doing something else instead of mowing the
Yeah.
lawn every week. And what happened
Yeah.
was I gained more capacity, I gained more happiness, and my
Yeah.
lawn was maintained much better because it's being done by a professional. And
Right.
so a win, win,
Exactly.
win. And it's a matter of just over your lifetime, really paying attention to your power base and
Hmm.
leveraging what you have more of. If you don't have a lot of money, but you have a lot of time, leverage your time. And
And
so,
oh, it's so powerful. And then also what I thought of too with what we were talking about was the whole power of connection. Okay.
yep,
And my grandmother taught me that to find a way or make a way by helping others find a way or make a way. And
yep,
so I like to say that connection is the most valuable currency that you have. Because
yep,
if you can make connections for other people without any expectation of anything, you're just helping them do what they're trying to do. It
yep,
is amazing.
yep.
I just a week ago, somebody ran into me who ran into somebody I have not seen in 10 years who said that they must work with our company.
Mm,
I hadn't seen this, but they remembered something I did for them without any
yeah,
expectation. And
yeah,
that's really powerful. That is true power when people see that you're giving from heart, you're giving from deep within and not expecting anything in return except to see them succeed
yeah,
and find the connection they need or find the resource they need. That gives me great joy, quite frankly.
yeah. No, that's great. All right, let's ignite the power with some purpose. That's the second element of our happy
Yeah.
formula. And I've observed that major life transformations, that really big discovery of purpose, sadly often comes from devastation,
Mhm.
addiction, abuse, disease, death, disaster. Something horrible strips life to its core, resulting in a big and often unexpected change. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share the transformational process that I've used to discover the purpose of my life through inspiration. So, how
Mhm.
about you, Sherre? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the God given purpose you were meant to live?
Well, I grew up in a very difficult childhood. I grew up in a place that I love as a child. I grew up in a farming community, and I grew up with the choices were, which all commendable. You either work on the farm, you work in the factory, or you go into the military. My sister went into the military. I'm very proud of the work ethic I came from. I'm very proud of where I graduated from high school. I'm very proud to be that farm girl, and I'm fast to say I'm a proud Ohio farm girl. But I had a difficult childhood, and it was around 13, and I knew that I wanted to do something different, but I wasn't sure what it was because I was given those three choices, and many
Mhm.
were saying, those are your choices, okay? And I have huge respect for all those choices, but I felt that I was meant to do something different. And
Mm,
I read this. I was a voracious reader, and I read this quote by Albert Svant Georgi, that was, "Discovery is seeing what everyone else is seeing, but thinking like no one else has thought."
mm,
And that's when I decided that's what I want to do. I didn't know what it was going to be, but that drove every decision that I made. And of course, that's
yeah,
what entrepreneurship is about. But
yeah,
it's also about seeing in others what they don't even see in themselves,
Yeah.
or they're seeing things that have been influenced but aren't really who they are, and
Yeah.
helping them think in ways they've never thought before. And so that has been my driving force for everything I do since I was 13 years old.
That's great. And I noticed when I did my research, I noticed that concept about you, seeing seeing the same thing everybody else sees, but seeing something different. And I gotta tell you, that's been my superpower too, if I have one. So
Yeah,
it's really,
yeah,
really interesting. Now I also did I just recently see on Facebook that you grew up without a dad?
yeah.
And
So
talk
I,
about how that manifested itself in your life. And I didn't know that about you. I went through
well,
all my research
probably
and I didn't find it. And
90
all of a
some
sudden I
percent
see
of
it.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the
But
first time I've ever publicly shared that.
okay.
I,
And
and
how,
yeah,
so how did that impact your life and how did that impact your focus, not just on entrepreneurs, but women?
yeah. It's interesting. Again, my grandmother practically raised me, and she was such a great mentor and role model for me. And so she taught me not to focus on the without, but to focus
Mm,
on the with,
mm,
and what you have versus what you don't have. And so even though I don't know who my biological father is, I still had male role models like an art teacher and others and my grandfather on my mother's father, a great source of inspiration and creative energy. And so I just focused on what I had and didn't focus on what I didn't have. And to me, I think what so many people do is they focus on what they don't have,
yeah,
and it totally paralyzes them.
correct.
I believe I've always been a victor. I've never taken a victim mentality. And so what I really try to do is enforce that, help people see what they're not seeing because
Yeah,
they're so mired in what they don't have or what they coulda, shoulda, woulda. When there's so much they have bubbling inside of them, just
yeah.
waiting to get out and blow their own mind.
Your grandma sounds like a smart lady.
Oh, she was amazing. Granny P. She's with me
So,
every day.
so this is the second time you made me think of this quote, and it's so powerful. I saw it in a brewery written on a chalkboard behind the bar, and it said, "The days that my gratitude is higher than my expectations, those are really good days."
Oh, that's a wonderful one.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah.
wonderful one. I agree. And I can't tell you how I'm going to share something around gratitude. Okay. So when I was going through my divorce, I'm getting really personal and vulnerable here. I've journaled since I was 8 years old, and I was reading some of my journals, and they had gotten kind of sad and, just focused on what was not versus what was. And
Hmm.
so I actually decided that was it. I was going to get back to my gratitude journal. And so I went to a restaurant, and I was going to get what I called the bitching journal. I was going to get it done. I was never going to do it again. I was going to get everything out and it was going to be done. It was going to be thrown away. It was done. And then I was going to start the gratitude journal and get back to that. And I have done that ever since. Well, a funny story around that is, first of all, it worked. It was so freeing,
Hmm.
and like what I can tell everyone is when you have a moment when you are so frustrated or so angry or so whatever, take a moment and just write down 10 things that you're grateful for. And it can be something really simple, something even that feels laughable, but write those things down and it changes you immediately. It really, really does.
Yeah.
What's funny about that story in that restaurant is about 10 years later, I run into the chef. He didn't know I was that person that day. And I was sitting, it was a farmhouse restaurant with all these different rooms. And I said I just wanted to be alone in a corner. And so the host did that. And they came up to me about 9 p.m. I'd been there like 2.5 hours. And they said, is it okay if we sit somebody else in here? And I'm like, of course, you're a restaurant. Sit people here. What do you mean? I didn't mean I wanted the whole room to myself.
Yeah.
Well, I found out from the chef many years later, they thought I was a food critic. And I guess it was because I was writing in these two journals.
That's funny. Yeah.
So anyway,
Yeah. Very.
but gratitude is a powerful, powerful balancer within yourself, I think
Yeah.
is a great way to
Yeah.
put it.
Very good. All right. Thank you for that, Sherre. Now let's take a commercial break so our sponsor can spread a little love with our audience.
Are you ready to transform your life? At happyliving.com, we've discovered 4 keys to help you live with purpose, joy, and significance. Unlock your truth with the Happy Quiz. Unlock your happy formula with inspiring stories from the Something Significant Show. Unlock your roadmap to happiness with our free ebook, Making Your Mark of Significance. And unlock your inspired life with our life-changing e-course, The Philosophy of You and Your Inspired Life. This is your time to shine. Go to happyliving.com now and click Unlock the Power of You. Unlock your power. Live your best life. happyliving.com.
And we're back, and this is the Something Significant Show, and I'm your host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Sherre DeMao. She's the founder of BizGrowth Inc., an award-winning author and a champion for entrepreneurs and women leaders. With more than 40 years helping businesses thrive, Sherre empowers others through her Me, Myself, and Inc. philosophy, her best-selling books and mentoring programs. She's on a mission to show how purpose and prosperity work hand in hand to create lives of joy, impact, and significance. Oh, Sherre, you know I love that. And I think
Yes.
you're going to love this article that I found. It's called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. You mentioned that earlier in the first segment. And it says that the simple act of giving can become a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. And the science confirms it. It says when we give our time and our talents and our treasures, it doesn't just help others, but it transforms us too. It helps
Yes, it
us to
does.
overcome obstacles. It helps us to find meaning, and it helps us discover our purpose. So I went back and I updated our formula. Power plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. So how about you,
I love that.
Sherre? Tell us, how has giving your time, talents, and treasure been a powerful pathway for you discovering your purpose and for getting through hardships that you've endured and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Well, one thing I have to share is something I try to tell anybody who's feeling mired in their own frustrations or troubles or what have you, is I say, help somebody else out. Do
Yeah.
something, volunteer, do something because there's always someone that needs something, and it could be uplifting. Even if you don't believe it yourself, do it for somebody else. And you know what happens? You start believing it yourself. You're like,
Yep.
again, connection. That's another type of connection is currency, right? That
Yep.
abundant feeling that you have made a difference in somebody else's life or in a group of people's lives just simply by giving.
Yeah. You so on that note, I think you're going to be episode 196 or 197. Episode number 1 was with a man called Frank Shankwitz, who is the founder of Make-A-Wish. And
Oh,
when
yes.
Frank was a boy and he was poor and he had nothing and he was wallowing in his nothingness, and a mentor of his named Juan Delgado, who is the owner of a Snowdrop Inn restaurant on Route 66, told him the exact same thing. When you're feeling like you have nothing, you go do something for somebody. Go
Yeah,
help. Go help the lady across the street who makes you burritos and sends you to school with food. Go mow her
yeah,
lawn. Go pick weeds. Go help someone else. And so that is a great philosophy that's helped many people through the years,
it
and
has.
was a catalyst for one of the greatest charities ever, the Make-A-Wish
Well,
Foundation.
and Make-A-Wish is very near and dear to my heart. May I share? I have a great story
Yeah,
related to that. Okay,
I think
so
that's it. I think that may be how we met, actually.
it might happen. It might
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
So
But go ahead.
I was I've done 2 Trailblaze challenges where you do 28.3 miles in one day to raise money for
Hmm.
Make-A-Wish. And so this is the second time I was training for it, and I was on a training hike, and I overheard some of the hike leaders that worked for Make-A-Wish that they were having difficulty. This was 2019, and they were having difficulty granting certain wishes. So I was
Mm,
like, oh, I need to know this because at this point, all I've been doing was raising money for them, right? So I went into the office and I talked to the president of the local district here and found out that it was all related to building and construction wishes. Well, I at the time was on the board of the Women in Construction. I have a huge
Hmm.
construction network because of our clientele, because I love working with blue collar construction, manufacturing.
Mm.
We love, obviously, because of what I grew up with, right? And so I'm like, I can help you with that. I can help you with that. And so what it makes it, I'm getting chills every time I talk about this. What made it so joyful was that, okay, what happened in 2020, COVID, right? What wishes couldn't be granted? Travel wishes, everything else, but construction wishes because of essential workers could. So
Mm.
during COVID, we built a Ninja Warrior obstacle course, a princess playhouse, a unicorn tree house, a
Great,
playground,
great.
and oh my gosh, to actually make a wish come true,
Yeah,
uh, and how it made me seeing the joy and the amazement and the awe of that child everywhere from
yeah,
4 to 12 years old.
yeah. It's great.
That
It's
that
great.
was powerful. So yeah, and one of the an incredible organization, absolutely
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah. And so science tells us that giving to others helps bring real meaning to our lives.
Hmm.
And the joy that we feel from our fourth element of significance, as I define it, doing work that creates value for others, that confirms it. But there's something more to it than just the giving, Sherre. You see, the real magic of life, I believe, comes when you're giving from living in your purpose, because that's
Yes.
when joy flows, not just to the receiver, but to the giver too. And what's amazing is even to the people witnessing the giving.
Hmm.
So Sherre, the audience and I would love to witness what that magic looks like in your life. So I invite you to sit back and open your heart and just listen to what people are saying about the impact that you're making in their lives by finding the magic of giving from living in your purpose. So one person said, Sherre is a wonderful example of leading with wellness and heart and passion and by example. Another said, Sherre is always present when she's in your company. Another said, Sherre DeMao is a dynamic person that consistently thinks about how she can make someone's life better and business better and more successful. Others said, a truly great friend, a business partner, a mother and a grandmother too, a great listener, a pleasure to know, a true light. She's an energetic go-getter. She's curious and conscientious too. Dedicated, enthusiastic, generous, fantastic, genuine, giving, honest, incredible, inspiring, loving, sincere, positive, supportive, talented, thoughtful. Sherre rises above adversity. She's the epitome of perseverance, tenacity, creativity, and change, and the most most gifted connector I've ever met. She brings encouraging energy into a room, no matter what the topic or situation. I remember her telling a group of us that she's planning to live in good health to the age of 120. She
123, actually.
She's 123, great. She always sings creatively in a manner that is truly and uniquely in the best interest of everyone that she comes into contact with. And finally, this person simply said, I am blessed to have her in my life. So Sherre, tell us, how does all that incredible love make you feel?
I don't even know what to say. Uh, I am deeply honored and appreciative, because I get so much out of every interaction I have. There's not something I don't learn every single day. There's not some piece of beauty that I don't get to embrace every day because I get to be in this world helping others, and then hey, we all help each other, right?
Mhm.
It's a true blessing. It's a true blessing.
And that's it, folks. That's what this is all about. We're here, Sherre and me, and all our guest stars too, to encourage you, our listeners, to find that same magic in your lives. It's available for each of us. That's what I believe. And it comes from this great big happy circle. Giving your time, talents, and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering your purpose. And then giving from living in your purpose brings a profound joy to your life and to the lives of those around you too. So it seems that giving leads to purpose and giving from purpose leads to joy. So Sherre, if I'm going to capture the full exponential power of our happy formula, I've got to tweak it just a little bit more to power times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power. And that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you?
That sounds exceptionally right.
Very good. Very good. All right, let's wrap things up with a lightning round. I love the power of words and the capacity for great quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few of my favorites and ask you to tell us what comes to mind, not just the first word, but the first thoughts that come into your mind, because we call this a lightning round.
Okay.
So here we go. This is from the great Peter Drucker. No institution in American life is freer to do what it wants to do than a business.
Absolutely. Businesses can change the world. I truly believe that entrepreneurial businesses can be 100% successful and are the economic vitality to create 0% poverty. That is what drives me to help entrepreneurs every single day. I truly believe this.
Yeah, that's awesome. From Martin Luther King Jr., faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase.
Absolutely, absolutely. Too many people get caught in what I call limiting thinking factors, fearful thinking and wishful thinking, and inspired action. One little inspired action. Make that call. Look into that information. Ask a question. Be curious.
Yeah. I wrote a whole book on this idea that turning inspiration into action. It's easy to get the inspiration. Then as soon as you have it, and I want you to talk about this for a second, as soon as you have it, I want to do this, then your mind starts sabotaging it. You can't because, you can't because. How do you help your entrepreneurs overcome that?
What I always say is schedule it, put it in there. Instead of focusing on can't, say focus on can do. And can do stands for conscientious action nurtures desired outcomes.
Very good. All right.
That's what I say.
Folks, at the end, I'm going to give you links to Sherre's website, but she's got a million of these sayings and things, a really deep bench of good business information. This quote's from Sarah Young. She said, living well is both a discipline and an art.
Yes, it is. And I think discipline is being very intentional in everything you do, from physical to emotional to mental to spiritual to financial, everything, being very disciplined. But I think the art comes from the joy of it. If it's discipline because you feel like you have to versus discipline because you want to, there's a big difference there. And so it's discipline based on true desire. Maybe we should change this discipline to desire. I don't know. Change the word.
And purpose. Art is creativity. It's when you're in your purpose.
Yes.
So your art might be as a car mechanic, and it might be as an entrepreneurial coach. It might be as a writer or a musician. It doesn't make any difference. When you find your purpose, and I think Sarah's talking about purpose when she says art.
Yes.
When you find your purpose and you apply discipline to it, it changes the world.
Oh, it really does. And it keeps you focused. Yeah.
Yeah. This is from Albert Einstein. He said, logic will get you from A to B. Imagination will take you everywhere.
That is my favorite quote. That's one I love, Albert Einstein. And I like to say that opportunities abound, vision beyond what you see and see beyond what you think. Because there really are, your imagination is your greatest source of inspiration. And anything you can imagine is real. And I have to share this example because when I moved into this house 10 years ago, my daughter was looking at an old art portfolio because my first phase of education was the Institute of Art and Design. And I realized she'd never seen these before. And so she pulls up this watercolor 3D perspective of a living room that I was at in 1982, I think it was, that I did this. And it was, you couldn't go into Architectural Digest. You simply had to create this room. I see my daughter's jaw drop and she goes, Mom, this is our living room.
Yeah.
And it looks
Yeah,
exactly like the
yeah,
living room in this house.
that's
And it
great.
actually now has a special place. So sometimes your subconscious is envisioning things you don't even realize.
That's right.
So our imagination is extremely powerful.
That's right. This one's from says Shireen Williamson, but it's not Shireen Williamson. It's because I did a word replacement. Who did I? Marie. Yeah, Marianne Williamson. And I want to tell you what happened. So my show notes for you, I just copied and replaced them for my next guest star, which is going to be Maria Gomez.
Yeah.
And so Cherie, I'd put her in your interview. I'd made a mistake and I hadn't copied and pasted it yet. So I changed all the Cheries to Maria. And now I get to this name, Shireen Williams. No, what is Shireen? Oh, Marianne Williamson. And she said, as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same.
That's very powerful because instead of seeing the dark, be the light. That's something I say a lot, and so that's what comes to mind for me. Instead of seeing the dark, be the light. And that goes back to focusing on have versus have not, focusing on others versus yourself when you're feeling mired in self-frustration, and being that light, helping others is being that light.
Yeah, that's great. And this is an unknown author, but with a super powerful statement that said, the present moment is where time intersects eternity.
Oh, I love that. Well, I believe that we have destiny, not fate. And when people that think that they're fated have a tendency to be mired in what they don't have, or this happened to me, or woe is
Mhm.
me. Whereas if they're more destiny minded, then being present in the moment empowers your future. Being present in the moment empowers your ideas. Being present
Yeah,
in the moment helps you feel people, not just be with people.
yeah,
And as a result, you see things, you think things you may not have thought of that give you a whole nother realm of possibility.
yeah.
If that
Very
makes
good.
sense.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is our show anchor, as always. It's from Goth. And he said, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
Absolutely. Sooner, if not immediately. Immediately, if not sooner. That's
Yeah,
what it is. Immediately, if not sooner. That's right.
yeah, yeah. Get on it.
Yeah.
Very good. And now, my friends, it's your chance to be a giver too. If today's show with Sherre DeMao inspired and motivated you, then share that spark with our amazing team at WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage people in need. Every gift matters, big and small, because your generosity fuels change. Together with your support and their tireless work, lives are being transformed and love is being multiplied. So donate today and be part of something bigger than yourself. Cherie, I love how you help other people believe in what's possible beyond their own vision, helping them to dream wide awake. And I admire your gift for seeing what others don't and expanding their ways of thinking. And I'm super happy that you shared your magic of unlocking brilliance, bringing out the uniqueness and strengths in people and companies so they can flourish. So thank you for bringing your inspiring, innovative, and empowering spirit on our show today. Will you
Thank you.
take just a moment and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
I would say the parting mark I would like to leave comes from my Dream Wide Awake Empowerment Guide. And it is, as I was working with entrepreneurs and then their team of people, I realized hidden in our values, we all have core values that define who we are from the inside out. Hidden in our values is a treasure map of purpose and mission and vision. And
Mhm.
and once you embrace your values and own them completely and breathe and live them every single day, doors will open, opportunities will present themselves, and it will feel so natural and so right because it's from your inside out values.
Yeah.
That's what I would like to say as a parting statement.
Yeah. And so that's it, folks. We've been saying the same thing in different ways. Once you discover your purpose, it changes your whole life. It doesn't make everything, sunshine and roses, but when you're walking through the thunderstorm, you're doing it for a reason. And that makes it easier, doesn't it, to go through? It's
It
better.
does.
The great times are awesome, but the difficult times are fueled with purpose. It's like athletes that are training together and have just brutal practices to get strong, and soldiers. You're sharing this strenuous hardship together, but
Right.
it's like a badge of honor.
It also, again, every challenge, every obstacle is there to, in my meditation this morning, actually, it was specifically talking about every obstacle, every challenge is an opportunity.
Yep.
Be curious. Don't feel like you can't do anything because you can do. Remember what I said can do is.
Yeah, yeah, very good. Thank you, Sherre. And friends, it's because of stories like Sherre's and listeners like you that we've been named one of the top 100 life purpose podcasts worldwide, ranked number 17. And so thank you for supporting our mission and for sharing these stories of inspiration and purpose. I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars just like Sherre and reaching folks like you ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to social media and all things Sherre DeMao. Check out her expansive BizGrowth 5.0 blog. Buy her books, hire her to speak at your next event. You'll find all her links in our show notes. And from me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So wait no more. Go to happyliving.com right now and click unlock here. It could be the first step to unlocking the life you were meant to live, one filled with purpose and joy and real significance. And as you begin unlocking, think about what we can do together, you and me, to improve the happy of your world one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.